Good morning, good morning, good morning, folks. Sorry about my ugly mode, but this is my version of Sunday, so I'm going to dress how I feel like. We're going back to that horrible world known as the JRC, but before we do, the usual disclaimers and some awesome news this morning. So, everybody knows I've been stressed to my gills because of my numbers, because January sucks for all salespeople, including us poor sales representatives, who about this time of month just gets a bunch of stupid questions. And I do mean stupid. Stupid. Ugh. Well, I went to go on there because I like to clear my emails out even though I'm not on the clock. Because otherwise, if I get on there in the morning, it takes me a good half an hour just to clear my email out. And I like to have as much time in the mornings as humanly possible, right? So I clicked on there, decided to check my time balance, and lo and behold, because of the new year, I'm sitting at 30 hours right now of vacation time. Now, granted, I'm going to be adding to this instead of just taking that whole time off because I'd like to have a real vacation for once. So I'm going to be trying as much as humanly possible to not really be taking any time off between now and March. And then during March, what I'm hoping to do is take a nice, full, solid week and a half off. I mean, I've been stressed to the gills. I think I've earned it. So, yeah, I'm super stoked about that. Because if I can put that time on there and I can time it just right, Silver Dollar City and Tanger Outlet, here I come. Just saying. Just saying. I gotta hit well, there's a lot of markets out there in the general area where Silver Dollar City is, and there's a lot of things I need to get restocked up on. Let's just put it that way. So I'm enormously relieved. Enormously so. All right, now to the disclaimers after giving you some positive news for once, because for once I've managed to not look at Twitter before we do these videos. I do want to let you know we are shooting straight through these two. I'm not going to really be taking that many pauses because I kind of want to enjoy my day today. So let's get going, shall we? In the description box, you're going to find a link to the article that the Judge Rotenberg Educational Center doesn't want you to read. It's written by NeuroClastic, a small non-for-profit started by autistics for autistics, wherein they interviewed and surveyed over 900 ABA professionals in regards to the JRC's quote-unquote behavioral modification program. Matter of fact, the JRC doesn't want you to read this article so much, they have threatened NeuroClastic with a defamation lawsuit if they do not remove it from the website. NeuroClastic has refused, so you know the drill. Please read that article and share it on all your social media. We also have linked in there NeuroClastic's public statement regards to the defamation lawsuit threat, as well as a link to their GoFundMe. We are crowdfunding, folks, in case the JRC actually has the balls to see through with their threat. We got the other pertinent links to the Stop the Shocks campaign as well, including Autistic Hoya's massive, and I do mean massive, archive on the subject. We're talking documents and receipts that go all the way back to the 1970s extensive. We also have a link to Jennifer Masumba's behavioral sheet of shockable offenses. We have a clip out of the 7-hour ordeal undergone by Andre McCollins back in 2002. The templates and the ever-present self-explanatory change.org shut the Judge Rotenberg Center down petition. When we discuss the JRC, folks, you're going to hear vivid descriptions of and catch clips of surveillance footage of peoples with disabilities being tortured and abused. If you got young children present, please go ahead, use those headphones. This channel is marked not for children for a reason. We use profanity and we talk on dark subjects. If your child is 16 and younger, parental supervision is very obviously advised. Trigger warning, we are about to descend once more into the mad ravings of a lunatic mind known as Dr. Matthew Israel. He's going to lie to you. He's going to try to sell pseudoscience. He's going to victim blame and shame. He's going to be a gaslighting motherfucker. He's going to blame everything wrong on the advocates. Everybody else is lying except poor Dr. Matthew Israel. You're going to hear enough ableism, bigotry, word salads, and just up and out stupidity and batshit and insanity to circle the globe a few thousand times. So just, be prepared for the stupid, all right? Okay, so this is finishing off where he left off, where he claims he's a rational person. A rational doctor doesn't cite himself as a source. Nor does a rational doctor allow himself to conduct studies in order to prove a bias he already has. That's called conflict of interest. It is not an honest study. What makes those studies even worse is the other doctors who participated are not independent parties with no attachments to your center. They are the doctors that you hire, that you pay outside, you fill their wallets. They have incentive to agree with whatever assessment you're going to have. That's not how data collection is supposed to work. If someone has an interest, they're going to skew data and results in their favor. Just saying. An honest study, I'm still not over this shit. An honest study is allowing others who have no affiliations with the school or hell, even the state, to come in and do a real study. And the reason why nobody outside the JRC has conducted such studies is because the medical model, as flawed and disastrous and hate-filled as they are, even they have stated that to do such a study is unethical and in violation of human rights. Says a lot, doesn't it? But you're not going to hear that from Dr. Matthew Israel. You're going to hear that if you go to Lydia Brown's archive, the Living Archive. That's where you will find that. All right, so let's read this paragraph full of bullshit, shall we? Indeed, one of the key persons, Dr. Freda Brown, who provided information to the authors of the MDRI report, was involved in such an unfortunate case where a young man was put at risk of dying and ultimately died because of philosophical objection to aversives. Bullshit! Again, this doctor really doesn't like to take any responsibility for his own actions, nor is he ever willing to admit any consequences to what him and his psychosphere get up to. He takes no responsibility about the psychological damage that he does to these kids. According to Dr. Matthew Israel, he did nothing wrong. The kids were just not right in the head. And if we're not being tortured and punished every day of our lives, then we're at the risk of dying. I'd rather die, doctor. Just saying. If it's live a life of abuse and torture to save my life, then fuck my life. I want a reboot. Okay? Please spare me your bullshit. And by the way, how he keeps claiming this insane shit that it's a philosophical objection. There's nothing philosophical about it, jackass. We know there is consequences to your little device because we've got the fucking ER documents to prove it. We've got your own DESI reports to prove it. For God's sake, we have the fucking video of what you bastards did to Andre McCollins to show this is not philosophical. It's not a philosophical objection, doctor. It's an objection based off of observation and facts. Okay? I'm not seeing what I want to see when I watch you bastards torture poor Andre McCollins while he's screaming and begging for mercy. Okay? There's no way to skew that in which it makes you look favorably. Okay? There's no amount of gaslighting, flowery words, word salads, or bullshit, or whatever skewed study you want to pull out of your ass that's going to make that video go away. Okay? It's not philosophical. And by the way, if you're using that as a defense, why and how did this man even become a fucking doctor? Because he has no idea what the fuck that word means. You want to talk philosophy, doctor? Maybe go pick up the Consolation of Philosophy. Okay? Some of us has actually studied the subject, even though I know you believe that we can't understand. Just saying. It's not philosophical, doctor. It is a rational, justifiable, completely understandable, and yes, doctor, rational and sensible objection to your insanity. It doesn't make sense on any level of medicine. And we're talking about a medical model that has been used to beat us down for fucking decades. If even they are standing up and they are staring at you and asking, what the fuck? You should probably reconsider your life choices. See, doctor, the real truth is you, much like the founder of ABA and B.F. Skinner, don't see us as humans. To you, we are glorified lab rats. You chose us because we are uniquely vulnerable. You prey specifically on poor communities of people of color because they have next to no other resources for them to be able to reach out to in order to get to other types of programs that would be beneficial to their kids. You prey on those communities. You lie through your teeth to them. You control and feed them a propagandized version of your bullshit. And then you take their kids to their fucking psycho circus, okay? That's the real truth. And you target specifically them, because this bastard knows that we are less likely to cause an uproar when he's experimenting on us. And unfortunately, folks, he's been proved right on that. The real outcry against this place has come from self-advocates and allies who have joined us who can't believe this batshit insanity is allowed to go on. Okay? It's not philosophical when it's based in evidence and facts. Okay? Let me put it this way to you, doctor. I live nowhere near your state. I'm not related to anyone that you have inside that school. My only ties to your state are family members who no longer live near the Boston area. I've got what you would call literally no dog in this fight. Okay? I am not incentivized in any way, shape, or form. I get no money from this. And by the way, doctor, if you think I have just been so happy at over a decade of abuse, slander, intimidation, and harassment for coming against your ass, yeah, I got a river in Egypt I can sell you. Okay? Please fucking spare me. You're not even using the word philosophical in a way that makes any coherent, logical sense. You don't even understand the meaning of the word. The fact that you use it as a way to demean us kind of makes you look stupid, not us. You. Because any rational person can go in and they will take a look, as MDRI did, and see the situations where you're mentioning suicide and the worsening of symptoms, and will correctly assess that as individuals who now are suffering due to the trauma and psychological damage that you've done to these kids. And now that the threat has been removed, as often happens with us and has happened in my own life, we now have to deal with the aftermath. Any of us who have PTSD or any other mental illness for that matter know intimately how that mental illness affects one's diagnosis. In my case, and in the case of many others like me, when it kicks in, the worst part of our diagnoses comes out to haunt us. Okay? Please spare me the bullshit. These kids are not getting suicidal because you took it from the life-saving medicine of me torturing them. Why can't you just be a good little lab rat? Because I'm not a lab rat, jackass. I'm a human being. Every single student in there is not a lab rat. They are human beings. They deserve to be treated with respect and dignity by individuals who actually give a shit about the well-being of their patients. You have no business being anywhere near medicine. You are a disgrace to the profession, a disgrace to the field, and quite frankly, you shouldn't even be in charge of a fucking snail. I can't deal with this. God damn, philosophical. If anyone wants to know where my just absolute disgust at humanity comes from, it's illogical gaslighting bullshit like this. And because, yes, I had a grandmother who was an English teacher, and I am very well read and a writer myself. When I see these idiots appeal to authority and then just throw around words because they sound big and they think it makes them sound important, but they don't even use it within a right context. And when you read the sentence, it makes no coherent sense. It literally makes my skin crawl. And then he happens to be like the king of the run-on nonsensical sentence. So, yeah, that. Sorry about the rant, folks. Whew. God, it felt good, though. Okay. So what are we taking from this? Well, once again, Dr. Matthew Israel is trying to demean our arguments based on facts. The fact that with our arguments, we have receipts and have been producing those receipts for over a decade. The fact that we have the medical documents from the autopsies of 6 students, the DESI reports, the case out in California, the case out in Rhode Island. Now, he's going to use society's innate ableism as a whole as a means to demean us, so that he can get you to dismiss what they say. What he didn't see coming is those of us individuals who have these diagnoses who also decided to pursue careers in the field. So not only do we have that lived experience, we also have that professional experience. We know he's full of shit. We know this man had no business ever being near any medical facility of any kind, except maybe as an inpatient. I'm going to go ahead and close on that, folks. We'll get to the next video in a moment. We don't make very... oh my god. This is how upset his nonsensical insanity makes me. Alright. Folks, we don't get very many views on this channel. The few that we do tend to get removed from time to time. So please don't forget to hit the like button, hit subscribe, and please don't forget to hit those comments. I do appreciate your time this morning, and as always, we here at Spilling Tea do hope you have a good one. Bye-bye, everyone. Bear with me, folks, technical difficulties. There we go.